What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the overall markets. I'm going to break down some very important news coming out for tomorrow. It's going to affect the way we end up moving, what you should be watching for in terms of levels as time goes on. But just remember that I'm not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link. If you deposit any amount of money, you're guaranteed 12 free stocks. If you deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 in total. Deposit $25,000 more, and you're guaranteed 75. The offer ends very soon in just about 4 weeks. Anyways, now let's talk about the market. So I just wanted to mention that right now the market's on a bit of a downtrend, but the question is, will we get a bounce from here? Could we be forming like a flag right here that could lead to like something completely different? We'll be watching this just to be very clear, but I just want to say that right now I'm not 100% certain about how this is going to go because it's going to depend on some data. So tomorrow is going to be Friday, October 4th, 2024. 1 hour before the market opens at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 8:30 a.m. for New York time for those who are curious in the USA. Basically, we have some unemployment numbers coming out. This comes out an hour before open, and the unemployment rate is going to be very important. It's going to give us more insights about what the Fed is doing. The last time the unemployment saw a big spike, this caused the market to tank really hard as recessionary fears were triggered. The SAM rule suggested that we were in a recessionary environment and it was coming, and this led to a lot of fears. So that is very important. So unemployment could trigger fears about recessions and different things like that that could lead to more downside. Or if unemployment is decent, the market could also attempt to bounce. So we have unemployment numbers, we have governmental, manufacturing, and non-farm payrolls all coming out. It's going to be very important. So the main time to watch for volatility is before the market opens and during open. The first hour is going to be pretty volatile and pretty crazy, in my personal opinion. On top of this, there's also going to be some more stuff coming out. There's a lot of chaos right now for shippers in the USA as the port strikes are continuing. This could cause costs to go up, which could affect inflation. So please be very mindful of that. And then we also have, not to mention, some more news involving Israel. We just saw Joe Biden address a lot of important points. We'll see how things go with Israel if something happens overnight or not. So be very patient with that. With that being said, though, let's talk about how this could end up affecting the markets. So I just want to warn you all that if you're holding anything overnight, be careful because before the market opens, in the USA, we're going to be looking for a big gap or gap down. We have all this data coming out for unemployment. So that's going to cause a big move. If the unemployment numbers are high and that leads to more recessionary fears, that could lead to a rug pull tomorrow, and the market could get a rug pull. SPY could dump to this imbalance all the way down to the low 560s. That is a strong possibility if we get bad numbers tomorrow before the market opens. If we get good numbers, okay, and the numbers end up looking decent, this could try to rebound back up to this imbalance, taking us down up towards all-time highs. So will we go back up to all-time highs, or are we about to get some kind of rug pull? We'll just have to wait and see. Now, I'm not a fortune teller. I don't know what the numbers are going to look like, so we just have to be very patient with them. But that's why I'm giving you guys a warning about how if you're holding anything overnight, be careful. You're going to have to hold through the unemployment numbers, so that is up to you guys, whatever you want to do. For ES, we also have something very similar developing. It looks bearish right now, but we'll be watching to see if we could try to hold this support around the 57.25 area. If this holds, there could be an attempt to get back above our key EMAs to push into the very close to 5,800 area. If not, if this ends up failing, this continues to collapse, we could be looking for a bigger dump all the way down to our gap support, taking us down to this gap down here. So are we about to get a rug pull to fill the gap, or are we about to get a big bounce? Could go either way, guys. I don't really know until we see the unemployment numbers. That's going to give us more insights, so we have to wait and see. Nvda about to get a rejection here? You could argue that we're establishing a lower high compared to this high, also compared to these highs over here. So this could be a sign that Nvidia is forming kind of like a right shoulder and it's about to see a rug pull. That's a strong possibility. We could be getting a rug pull on Nvidia back down below 117, or are we about to try to rally back up to the highs in the 127 area? It could go either way, but I'm a little bit concerned about this resistance that we're fighting right now. There is a slight chance we get a rejection, so we'll have to wait and see. We'll see what the data gives us. For Bitcoin, we're dipping right now. We're barely holding this 60,000 area. Will we get a small bounce off this to get back up to 62,000, or are we about to get a big rug pull and start dumping to 58,000? Well, it depends on the data. For Tesla, we got some bearish news. I think one of their key employees has once again left the company. I'll talk more about that a little bit later on. For now, we look a little bit more bearish. So to be bullish, you want to see Tesla try to reclaim 251. If not, we're going to continue to dip. We also have this gap down here on Tesla, so I'm a little bit concerned about that gap fill, which aligns very, very nicely with our 200 EMA. So there is a risk of Tesla dipping towards 238. We'll see if we bounce or not, but still it looks bearish on the 4-hour time frame. If we're bullish, we want to break past 251, but for now we look more bearish. We will see if this move continues heading into tomorrow. There are some risks involved in trading and holding Tesla because you have to remember that there's unemployment data, and we'll see what that leads to. However, I do want to mention that approaching the robotaxi event, even if Tesla is on a bit of a downtrend, once we get very close to it, this should try to bounce. After the event, we should be looking for a big move as well. So we'll see if Tesla tries to push approaching the robotaxi event or not. NQ looks a little bit more bearish to me. It still has the risk of coming down to about the 19,800s. However, whether or not this head and shoulders pans out and we get this big rug pull depends on unemployment. Will we be dumping all the way down towards 19,700, or will we see a big bounce back up towards the 20,000s? There's a risk of us dipping lower, so just be mindful of that. Are we about to see the QQQ also dump? Are we going to be dumping back down to fill this gap towards 475? Are we about to try to bounce back up? It depends on the unemployment numbers. It looks bearish in terms of this trend. The odds do favor the downwards move, but we'll see just to be safe. For Apple, we look a little bit more bearish. We're kind of rejecting right here. There is a risk of us dipping to about 222 to fill the gap. So I do favor downside a little bit more. But just to be safe, we'll see what happens. Nvidia looks a little bit weaker, but we're barely holding our 200 EMA. If we hold 215, we could be trying to rebound back up to 218. If we lose that, we could be looking for the rug pull back down to 212. For Coinbase, in my opinion, is looking a little bit more bearish. We have 162.5 as our support. If that fails us, we could be dipping all the way down towards 156. We also have resistance around 170, so we'll see how things end up going. For Amazon, we look more bearish. If we reclaim 182.8, we could turn back up. Otherwise, we're at risk of dipping to this imbalance down to 178. Meta is outperforming the market, holding up at 580, but just be careful as this is a very, very tough resistance. If it rejects here, we're looking for 572 after unemployment. If not, it could hold up. It still has a wedge forming, so it's still technically bullish, but we'll see. This is outperforming the market quite nicely. Microsoft looks more bearish, could be dipping back down to about 414. This is the target I had, and we're very close to it. I think we touched the 414s already, so it's very close. It could dump even more to 409 if we get a rug pull. If we bounce, we're looking for 420 again. Google could be dumping back down to about 165. If it tries to bounce, we're looking for 170, but there is still a risk of downside. So my view of the market is there's a risk of downside. There is a high risk that this could start dumping. So you want to be very, very careful. I'm not promising it's going to happen. We just have to wait and see what happens with all this data coming out. So we'll see how things go. I just want to say I really appreciate you guys so much for listening. If you're holding anything overnight, just heed my warning and just know there's going to be a lot of data coming out, and we'll see how things end up going. I'll see you guys again in a couple of hours for one more update of the day. Until then, take care and peace out.